welcome back to Drink It In. You're probably thinking why you're hearing my voice and not Luke. That's because he unfortunately couldn't make it today. But as chances have it, we are still a trio, as I'm here with the usual Spurs fence sitter, Sim, and the special guest. But before we get into introductions, how are you, Sim?
Very good, Frankie. I'm happy to have become the joint, well, actually not the joint, the record appearance holder on Drink It In now with Luke off today. And of course, thoroughly looking forward to speaking to our guest today.
Yeah, me too. Well, without further ado, let's introduce him. It's been a while. So this man, he started his career at Chelsea before bursting onto the scene at Bristol City. And then he became a Reading legend. He has since played for Swansea and also had a stint at Barnsley before deciding to play out in Crete. And he recently finished his career in the National League. We're very excited to have him on today's episode. So please welcome to the platform, everyone, Leroy Lita. How are you doing, Leroy?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no worries.
I finished my career in Thailand.
In Thailand? I thought you was playing out in Margate and stuff in the National League.
Professional career. That's not professional.
Okay. So we find ourselves in unprecedented times at the minute. So how have you been dealing with it all and what have you been getting up to?
Not much, mate. Just been in the house. Just had a little girl, so I've been busy with her. So it's been all right for me. No guests coming in to see the baby every 2 minutes, so it's all good.
Oh, good, man.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, Leroy, it's a pleasure to speak to you today. I'd say that your career, especially the time at Reading, really does kind of coincide with the time that I really started watching the game, and I remember a lot of your time there. So try and hopefully get into a bit of detail on that. But you started your career, didn't you, Leroy, at Chelsea? But before that, you actually, I believe you were born in the Congo, were you? And just how was your kind of like early life, and how did the move to the kind of like the time at Chelsea begin and come about?
I came over when I was 5 years old, I think. So there's tough times over in Congo at the time. There's a bit of a war, civil war, whatever you want to call it. So my family decided to get me over here with some of my other family members. So my mum got me on a plane with my cousin. We went to Belgium first. We lived in Belgium for a bit and then moved over here.
Interesting stuff. And obviously, in terms of football today, the Premier League's come back. Being an ex-Premier League footballer and a fan of the game, I'm sure you realise you're relieved to see it back, and albeit under very different conditions. But what have you made of what you've seen so far with the return of football, Premier League and Championship?
Yes, it's not the same without the fans. So it's nice to see a little bit of football. I tried to get into the German football when that went back on. I think I watched about 15 minutes and I had enough. At least with the Premier League, we know the team, we know all the players, and it's nice to have it back on. But it's a different game without fans.
Yeah, and obviously there's still an infection risk, albeit like the powers that be, they kind of keep maintaining, don't they, that it's quite minimal. But how would you have felt about kind of like going back to full contact play, and especially like a month ago when they first went back to training and the country was still in lockdown at that time?
Yeah, I don't want to get into politics too much, but there's a pandemic out there. Football should be the last thing they should be putting back on, and they're human beings as well, so they're important. They have families, friends, and kids. So I'm not really a fan of what's going on, and I'm sure no one is. But I don't understand you can get football back on like they're a piece of shit. You know what I mean? They're human as well. So there's a pandemic going on. Everything needs to stop. End of. And you have to respect that. But they're forcing the football back. We all know why. So it's hard to believe in what they're saying.
Yeah, for sure. And also a big feature of the return of football, and it's been happening in the world, a really big world event, and that's the Black Lives Matter movement, which is it's really picked pace for kind of sad circumstances with what happened with George Floyd. And I just kind of want to get your idea about what's your, like, do you think football is doing enough at the minute? Obviously they're making strides and they've got to do more, but would you say the initial steps have been positive, or do they need to do a lot more?
First of all, George Floyd's not the first person, and what I say is we got camera phones now, and it's good, so everyone can see what's been going on for years. Every day, every other day it happens. I see stories all the time, or I hear stories, read stuff every day. There's something. So for people to start talking about it, is what I've realized is such a hard conversation for other people to have. I've been having these conversations my whole life. I've been in a position where when I was playing for Bristol City, I was walking home with my girlfriend at the time, walking back from a nightclub. This car pulled up. There was 2 off-duty police officers. They tried to beat me up, but they both lost. And they've called the police officer, their colleagues. Guess who was arrested?
Who?
Me.
Wow.
I guess I wasn't charged because what happened was on camera. If it wasn't on camera, that's my career done. That's my career done.
Yeah.
Footballer, Bristol City beats up 2 police officers. So these stories are not new. It's just good that people see it and talking about it. And it's good that people are having these conversations, but it needs to be done because everyone wants to ignore it. I'm passionate about it because you've experienced it, you know. So it's in all society. Football, I'll give credit to football. There's no other industry where you see little kids from Manchester, Liverpool, screaming Salah, Mane, players from different countries, different cultures. So it's something that's taught at home. And there's the system side of it, it gets deeper. Because once you teach a kid something, it's going to be in their brain. So they're always going to have that image. So it's something we need to talk about, and everyone needs to make it better because it's not on now. People, we should all help each other and, you know, respect each other. If I see anyone in trouble, I don't give a shit what you look like. I'm going to help you. You know what I mean? That's the end of it. It doesn't matter where you're from, what you have, what you don't have. You go and help. So as I said, the movement, it's good to see that people are talking about it and telling stories. So they can look at their friend and is that how you felt with your life? It's not, you know what I mean? It's not people trying to turn it to something else, which it's not. It's about respecting people, every single people from wherever you are, and that's it. And that's how I always live my life, and that's how everybody should. I ain't perfect, but I respect people.
Yeah, of course. That's quite a touching story that you just shared there, and away from.
I've got plenty for you.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I've got plenty for you, but it's not that time. It don't matter. I know exactly what it is, and that's the point people are trying to say. We don't want that. No one wants to get a job because the color of your skin. Want to get a job or do something because you're good at it. That's the end of it. But we know it don't work like that. It's hard for some people to believe. Nah. It's like when managers say they don't get opportunities. They don't because they colour their skin, and it's a fact. The people, they're not good at it. No. Then people on the boards, they look down. They're like, nah. They have these conversations. Oh, don't know if I want a black guy in charge or whatever guy. That's what happens, and that's a fact. And people need to just tell the truth. Stop beating around the bush and talking nonsense, and going, no. If he done this, that's not how it works. We all know that, and everybody knows it. It's like when Graham Souness talks on TV that he's came out about the board and that. Graham Souness is one of the most disrespectful people to black people, and he's never seen racism in his career. He targets certain players and talks about certain players all the time a certain way. You know who I can just say, and everybody knows it, but no one will say it. That's my problem with all of that, because everyone likes to beat around the bush. Why can't people just be real and deal with it and let's all be better? I mean, it's not hard. Why is it such a big conversation to try and get rid of racism?
Yeah,
it should be. Everybody should want to do it, but it's not, because it's scary to some people. So we're not going to be here to see it go. But you know what? While we're here, we'll make it better for our kids. Other people. I'm not just talking about black kids, white kids, every kid. So everybody can look at each other the same way and respect each other and take care of each other when needed.
Yeah, well, with the things that's going on at the minute, it seems to be a cornerstone in history, and hopefully this can be a time for change. So
the system will just change. It'll be done in a different way now, but at least we're getting a change, because the people before us had it different to us. The people before them had it different. So you got to keep progressing. I know it shouldn't be a topic, but it is. We're not going to see it in our lifetime, but we can make it better for the future. I've met people from all over the world through my career, learn about different cultures that I didn't know about. I love it, because it gives you a little understanding of where people are from and how they are. But I know it doesn't tell you about everybody. They give you a little bit, You take it in when you have a conversation when you meet someone from there, you can have a conversation. I've heard about so and so. I heard about your food. I've heard about what kind of stuff you do back then. Football's good for it. But I still, because the problem is still in society. So when people get mad at a stadium, they still go back to race. That flipping black so-and-so or that so-and-so, whatever. So it always goes back to, because that's natural in society. As soon as you get that out of society, it won't be in football.
Yeah, but
understand? It's not a football problem.
But
it's society.
Are you confident that society can, over a long period of time? Obviously, we want it to be as quick as possible. But are you confident that we have it inside? People have it inside them to change and to for meaningful change to happen.
Yeah, you put a 2-year-old, 2-year-olds, Chinese one, black one, white one, and I don't know, Hispanic one, whatever. Put them in a room. What happens? They all play, won't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's what we teach them.
Yeah.
So it's in us. Of course it is, because you're not born like that. You're taught. So when people stop teaching it, it stops. I know people need to keep repeating that, because this is true.
Yeah. So
it's in. Of course, it's in there. It's a human nature to help other people and be, be kind and be loving and respectful. That's a human nature. It's what disrespectful people are taught to be that way. They're not choosing to be. No one just chooses to be a horrible person. You know what I mean? The things happen in your life that drive you to that, but it's what you're taught, and it's important. Right? So you have to have a strong mindset and just try and be a good person. There's nothing wrong with being a good person. Everyone likes a good person. You know what I mean? Who doesn't like a good person? Tell me. You know what I mean? So it's in us. Of course it is. We can do something about it. Everybody. We need everybody on board, though, because we're not going to see it in our lifetimes, and we're not going to change it like that. But we can do something right now. That's the most important thing. You try. While you're here in this earth, you do your best to make things better for everybody.
Did you experience any forms of discrimination, like from the terraces?
I've had it every day of my life. I see it every day, but it doesn't bother me. You walking down the street, there's loads of things I don't need to get, because I know it's not. I don't necessarily blame them. It's because when you watch TV, they report, and when you watch movies, it's always a negative image on black people. They only can get certain roles and blah, 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 until they get to a level. You know what I mean? And that's what image people have at home. So what you watch on your TV, I don't watch nonsense. I don't watch none of them bollocks. You know what I mean? Because I know people are not really like that. It's how you want the image to go out. So every household that's watching, I don't know, you go to a white neighborhood, their TV is always, when they see black people and there's no one around black people, or they have one, they know one, something like that. Something happens, they always have that image, and TV keep feeding it. But everybody does it. Every white person, every black person, every Chinese or Asian, whatever, does good and bad things. But you want to keep a certain image of whoever in this bracket, and that's how it's controlled. That's when people talk about the system control. That's all about how they present you on TV, or I don't know. If a white man walks in the room for an interview, the first thing the employer thinks is, "Oh, I wonder what he's like." Then a black man walks in the room, "Oh, he's black." No one tell me any different. That's the first thing they think. So we need to take that out of the system, and then we can move forward. Until then, it's not going to happen. But we will get there. We won't be here, but we will get there.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, you kind of going to the start of your career. You started off at Chelsea. What was it kind of like in the setup there?
Yeah, looking back, I think I was single. I'm single-minded, so it didn't really matter to me that they didn't take the time out to actually coach you. I just seen loads of other things that I learned a lot from. I remember I had 2 days off school a week to go and train with the first team of reserves as a 15-year-old. So I remember training with like Jimmy Floyd, Hasselman, Zola, and them guys doing finishing with them. So I enjoyed that, and they taught me, and they like said, "No, Jimmy, we used to always say," because I used to always side foot the ball, trying to be so pretty. And Jimmy was just like, "No, get him in this position. You need to smash it." And I'm like, okay, and it worked for me. I got released when I was 16. I was a bit disappointed because I thought I'd done really well. I don't know why they was taking me out of school, because I was doing well in the team. They're probably just picking me. they were pushing one other lad so much. He ended up falling out of love with the football. He didn't even play as a professional. They're pushing. They put me in. Took me out of school, and I was like, "Oh, I've got a chance here." And then when it come to getting YT, they said, "Oh, you're too small." So if anyone knows my career, if you watch me play or anything like that, one of my strengths was in the air. So for someone to tell me I was too small, I knew it was a load of bollocks. Sorry if I'm swearing too much, and tell me to stop if you need me to.
Maybe just put on
it. Yeah, they told me I was too small, and I just sat there thinking to myself all the time, thinking, Leon Knight's in the youth team. He's smaller than me, and he's not as good in the air as me. So I was like, okay, had my little cry, went back, got just finished school as well. Got a little job at the petrol station. I was like, done it for a bit. I said, this ain't for me. Gone on the internet, got numbers of academies and just rang every academy I could, or the ones I answered. Bristol answered. I even rang Reading at the time. Bristol told me to come down the next day, and we'll talk about that when you're ready.
Absolutely, and just kind of like finishing on Chelsea, but it kind of sounds like there wasn't really much of a pathway into the first team. Would you say that it was like pretty much impossible for you to break in?
Knowing what I know now, yeah, it was very unlikely. Don't think I could have done much more. I worked hard, and they were pushing. They're taking me out of school to go and train with the first team and reserve. So I was doing something right, and when it come down to it, they said, "Nah." And one of the other kids who lived in my area, he was my strike partner at Chelsea as well. So he found out I was getting 2 days off school a week. So his parents have rang the academy and complained, say, how comes Leroy's been pushed in over there? And guess what? A couple of weeks later, he's in training with us 1 day a week when we were off school. So there's a bit more to it than that. So we're not getting into that because it's done, and I beat all that and still got to where I wanted.
Yeah, so you ended up at Bristol City, obviously, and I think the club were in the Championship.
I rang them.
You rang them, yeah. That's I've not really heard about it happening like that. That's really interesting.
That's what I mean.
To say on that. So.
Did you not have an agent at the time or anything like that? Or like,
no.
A lot of young kids nowadays have agents when they're like 14, 15 and stuff. So
yeah, feeding them nonsense. Yeah, no, I literally it's when the internet started. So I was thinking, every club's got a website. Just went on and looked in the academy section, took all the numbers, wrote them down, rang them up, and asking for a trial. They said, "Where you been?" I said, "I just been released from Chelsea." But the thing is, when I got released from Chelsea, Fulham rang me. They told me to come out. I trained with them a couple of days. We played a game against Chelsea. And we drew 2-2. I scored an overhead kick and a free kick. So Fulham were all buzzing. But they offered me a scholarship where it's like a schoolboy for 1 more year. And I was like, no, I need to be on an apprenticeship because I'm a London boy. I won't even be able to get to training if I can't get paid, you know what I mean? So even though it's 40 quid, I think they paid you at a time, they didn't even want to offer me that. So I just rang other clubs, and Bristol told me to come down the next day. And I came down, and I rang Bristol Rovers as well. They said, yeah, come. I played for Rovers on the Thursday. And not on the Wednesday, I played for Rovers. 1-1-0 scored. Trained with City on the Thursday, Friday. Played a friendly on the Saturday. I was on the bench. I was fuming because I was a trialist, thinking you don't want to see me for a whole game. So I think I was only going to get 45 minutes. They put me on a half-time. We won 5-0, scored all 5. And the chairman, the manager, and the director of football was watching, and they said, sign that kid. And then they took me from there. Last year, I didn't start any game. I think I started 1 game in a cup game, and then I made my full debut. In the second year, the manager was scared to put me in at the time because he loved the experienced players, Danny Wilson. There was a lot of experience, but we had a good group around us, to be fair. I played a few games, and then when we got to the playoff final, he left me out totally. And the fans are brilliant to me. They love me down there. My debut as a 17-year-old, I only played about 5-10 minutes, coming off the pitch and singing my name because they watched me in pre-season in the first team game. I'll go into the pre-season game. We played Hereford, And the assistant manager wants to talk to me. I'm like, I'm with the under 17s or under 18s, whatever it was. He said, "Oh, you're with us tomorrow." I was thinking, all right, they need some help with the kit or something like that. And then we got to Hereford, and I was on the bench. I was like, I got kit, everything. And then the manager put me on with like 30 minutes to go. We won a penalty, and I ran and got the ball. 70, I ran and got the ball. Then I had some guts, boy, Jesus. None of the first team players said anything, but they just saw my hunger and they're a good group and loud. I took the penalty, scored, and then I scored another on my left foot for my first team debut in pre-season. And then the fans were going mad about me. And from then, I was with the first team all the time. So it's just, I think people just see how much I wanted. When I came back from pre-season, I won every single running session. Even I'm not the best runner and anything like that, I made sure I won everything. And it helped me in the games. I was flying in training, flying in the pre-season games, and then got my call.
Well, you then become their top goal scorer, I believe. I think you scored 30 goals. Was it your debut season or the season after?
Nah, that was my final season. That was my third season. Third season. That's when I was playing every game for the first team. I scored 29. Got player of the year, young player of the year, players playing everything like that. It was good because then the man Danny Wilson got sacked and Brian Tinian, who took over, he was one of my teammates, and he used to sit on a bus on the away trips. We used to all sit together, have chats and banter. And he said, when I'm manager, you're going to be my team. So he knew what I was about. And he stuck to his word and put me in from day one. Played every game, and we paid him more goals.
Yeah, how did that experience with the Robins shape your career? And did you? I doubt you did, but did you surprise yourself with how good you did that season in terms of the goals, or did you always? It sounds like you always had that kind of belief.
I wasn't where I wanted. I wanted to play in the Premier. I got released from Chelsea. My target as a little kid, when I started playing football, 10 years old, I want to play in the Premiership. It was my sole focus, and people around me, if you ever spoke to them at the time, they will tell you that I was not. No one was straying my mind anywhere else. So I just stuck to my target. You have fault. You go backwards sometimes. You have disappointments, but you know what? I just kept going, and I just said to myself, I'm going to get there. And when I got in the first team at Bristol, I was like, come on. I'm on these two. In my head, I was thinking, I'm on these two divisions away. And I was playing and scoring, and scored 29. And the next year, I got a move.
Yeah, but did you expect to get to the Premier League that quickly? Because you're talking about like 12 months there between leaving and being.
No, I didn't go to the Premier League straight away.
Yeah.
We was in League One.
Yeah.
We was in League One. Then I played another year in the Championship.
Yeah. But after you left Bristol City, you got to the Premier League really quickly. I'm just wondering if it was sort of that, like you expected it to be that smooth.
Yeah, it's the
when we were top of the league, I was thinking when I went up to the Championship, then I said to myself, "Well, only one division away now." You know what I mean? That's all. That's the simple little thing that I used in my head. That was it. And when we was in the Championship, we were flying and we was clearing by 15, 20 points ahead or things like that. I was thinking, God, we got to keep going. We got to keep going. Let's not be one of them teams to fall off with the last final hurt. But we did it, and we was all confident. We had a good group of hungry players that wanted the same thing, and we achieved that with a record number of points still today. But Liverpool might be it.
Yeah, like you said, you looked to be Reading's talisman that season, and you started very quickly as well. So talk about how you settled into that team and why you think it didn't take you long to get scoring.
I think the manager was a big key. He was a major key because he was a manager, but Steve Coppell was a manager. If you're in the team, doesn't matter how old you are, how much it costs, how much money you earn, how much money you don't earn. If you're doing well for his team, you play. And if the team wins, it stays the same. So that mentality in the change room, everyone knew if they work hard, they get in the team and they do well for the team, they're going to stay. So it was positive. So we never had anyone knocking on his door saying, "Gareth, I ain't played for 3 weeks, blah, blah." And we knew if you play well, you stay in the team. And I don't understand how that can't work now, but there's too many games now and all this. People need to be fresh, and it worked for us, and he had a brilliant group for that.
I just also wanted to ask you, Leroy, during that 106-point campaign, you sustained an injury, didn't you, at the end of it? And remember Reading getting promoted and everyone else is in the kit and you're in a suit kind of thing.
No. You got the wrong picture. When we celebrated the trophy on the pitch, the final game, I took my suit off, took my cast off, put my boots on, put my kit on, and got look in the picture. But I've got metal on my leg. I've got the whole kit on. And my leg was feeling fine. I said to the manager, I put my kit on. He said, I understand. I put my full kit on, socks, everything, boots. I even didn't have my boots at the stadium. So I had to borrow Shane Long's boots because he's the same size as me, just to get in that, make sure I was in that picture. I didn't want to miss that. So yeah, I didn't. The suit one you see, that's the day we got, I think the game after we got promoted, I think the fans came on the pitch, ran on there.
Yeah,
so I was in the suit in the stand. But when the trophy was presented, I put my whole kit on, mate. Don't worry about that.
No, rightly so as well. I think you got 15 goals in that season, obviously, before you got the injury.
I broke my leg then.
If I remember, it was a team that was really full of goals. You obviously had yourself, Shane Long, like you mentioned, Dave Kitson as well got a lot of goals.
Yeah,
but
Kevin Doyle.
Yeah, just what was the supply line like in the team? Because I remember it's a really creative team you had there.
We got the ball forward as soon as possible. We got crosses in, got the ball in the box, worked on our set pieces, and then we passed. We could play, but we got the ball forward as fast as we could. You know what I mean? To get loads of set pieces and corners and stuff like that. So it worked for us. We was a team that got on top of people. Put pressure on them and create loads of chances, and we scored plenty of goals.
Yeah, and it was a dream start to the Premier League for you because actually I remember the game, you were 2-0 down, weren't you, against Middlesbrough? And I'm not sure if did you start the game?
No, my first game back from my broken leg.
So you started the game on the bench, did you?
I was on the bench at Kits and got injured just before half time, and I came on at half time. Yeah.
Won the game 3-2 and you got the winner. How did on your Premier League debut?
Yeah, it was good because all summer I was in training because I think I had like 5 days away or something like that because I had to make sure my leg's strong for the season because I broke it. And it was a great feeling to be back on the pitch and scoring on your Premier League debut, the winner as well. So it was special.
Yeah, and I loved it. Oh, sorry. And you also continued to score goals throughout the season. I remember you got goals in consecutive games, didn't you?
10 in 10.
At Stamford Bridge and Old Trafford, and obviously going back to Chelsea, where you started your career. Did you that extra special to score against them and there as well?
Yeah, I'm a Chelsea fan as well, so and I celebrated. These are things you dream of as a kid, playing at them places and scoring there. So to live it, you know what? While you're playing, you concentrate on the next one. But when you stop, you look back and you're like, you can't have no regrets because you got where you wanted. And I really enjoyed it. That was my dream, to play in big stadiums and score at them stadiums in front of thousands of people. So that's what football's about for me.
Yeah, well, I remember that run you went on, and it was a joy to see. So I think Reading done really well. But during that season, you also had a confrontation with a Charlton player, if I remember rightly. Was it Tadao
Kalkouri?
Yeah. Just talk us through what happened there and what was your side of the story, I suppose.
Handbags, nothing. No one hit anyone. No one punched anyone. No one spat at anyone. Anything like that. Just handbags. And they classed it as violent conduct. Gave me 3 games. But anyway, it's all good.
And then you then got injured again, and I'm sorry to ask, but just how did you injure yourself getting out of bed? I thought.
See, these are the things that it's people write stories to make it funny.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pathetic. I was out with my friend on the Saturday. On the Sunday, we went, I think, Pizza Express or somewhere like that, and I just felt like a sharp pain in my thigh, and I couldn't get in my car properly, and I was struggling. And then we was meant to go somewhere else, and I felt it again. And I was like, nah, I need to go and rest. Got training tomorrow. My leg's not feeling great. So I've tried to rest it, got up in the morning, and it feels worse. Not got out of bed, or whatever they want to put it. It's just a bit of fatigue in the muscle, but it sounds funny, and it's a good story for the press or of it. them guys to work. But
Yeah.
I just let people play along with it. It's all good. But it's actually a boring one.
Okay.
It's just pull muscle. It wasn't in bed with a bird or anything like that. I got injured. How they're trying to make it sound.
So effectively, you had an injury, and then you basically
just got worse.
Yeah, because we've all played football. We've all got like knocks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even gone out and sort of woke up with.
Yeah, and it feels worse. Yeah, that's all it was. But let's let them play that story. People have asked me that for years. I don't even tell them the truth anymore because it's boring, isn't it? I just say, I got out of bed and I was injured. So it's all good.
Yeah. If we could kind of like move on to not even possibly a much more, serious injury, and you were on the pitch, unfortunately, for the incident when Petr Cech suffered that fractured skull during that season.
I was right next to it. Yeah.
Yeah, the collision with Stephen Hunt, which it was sickening at the time. How kind of quickly did you realise how serious it was?
I ain't gonna lie. On the pitch, I was literally the ball was for me.
Yeah.
So and Stephen come across like trying to get it, and then it didn't look that serious, but then he didn't move, and I was like, he's seriously hurt. When they told me the injury, I was so shocked that it was that serious. And Steve, it's a total accident. It wasn't nothing malicious and anything like that. It's just a bit too eager. Your first season in the Premiership, you're trying to do well, trying to impress. So yeah, it was unfortunate. Thank God he was all right in the end, and because most people lose their lives with that injury, don't they?
Yeah, so second season syndrome hit Reading that season afterwards, didn't it? Really, I think you finished 18th place, and it kind of shocked most people after that really good debut season that you had. So just tell us what happened that season and what you think was different.
Well, we were all quite young then. A lot of us were linked to different clubs, so if I'll talk for myself, I wanted to move on to the next stage. I wanted to play in the Champions League and all that. So if it meant moving to another bigger club than Reading, just to test myself there and go again, that's what I wanted to do. And a lot of players were thinking the same thing. So I think the worst thing Reading did was kept everyone, because a lot of players wanted to leave, so it wasn't the same. And because we all got ambitions and nothing wrong with them. Some players they're happy to be there for their whole career, but if you got ambitions as a footballer, you want to play in the Champions League and play in Europe and then push for your country and stuff like that. So when you play for bigger clubs at that time, it helped you with the national team. You're getting a call up in the summer because you're playing at high pressure games at big clubs where you're expected to do well every week. So it makes a difference, and then you show them that you can deal with that, and that's what helps, get you into the national team. Not anymore, but that's how it was back then.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested to know what you think could have happened if Reading, because you finished 8th in that first season, which is obviously just outside the European places. What could have happened if you'd finished, say, 7th or 6th and got into the UEFA Cup at the time? Do you think things could have been different for that team?
I think it would have been if we were in Europe, because everyone wanted to play in Europe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no one would have wanted to leave. So everyone would have been happy to stay, because you don't know what draw you're going to get in Europe. So I think it would have been a different mindset, but that didn't happen. So I think the club made a mistake by keeping everyone there, which makes sense for the fans. I get it, but in football, people have got ambitions and want to do stuff in the game, because your career is not forever.
You said you wanted to play in the Champions League. Was you close to signing for any clubs, or was you linked?
No, but I was saying go to when I played in League One. In my head, you're 2 divisions away. So you get to the Championship, you get to the Premier League. You want to go to a team that finishes that challenging for top 6, top 10, and if you go to a top 10 club or top 6. I know we finished 8th, whatever it was, but we weren't going to do that with the mentality and the players with their budget every year. So for me, I would have liked to go on to an Aston Villa and Everton, someone I do well for them, because you do well for them, and someone else looks at. That's how I seen it. I just seen progress, and I didn't have no club came in for me in a Champions League position, something like that. But I think you go to the next club, bigger size, you do well, and a bigger club comes for you, and that's how I seen it.
Were you advised by anyone at that time? Did you have an agent?
Yeah, I had an agent. Yeah, well, he told me to see out my contract at Reading. I think Villa offered like 9 million or something. It was 7 million, 9 million, something like that for me. Reading wanted more, so they said no, and Villa wouldn't pay anymore. So all that got frustrating from my agent at the time was telling me that I just see your contract, you get one of them big clubs, and my head was going with that a bit because I was thinking, I'm not here for all them political flipping prices and all that. Just get me to the next level for my career. And eventually I left Reading for free.
Yeah.
So they didn't get anything. So they tried to sell me the last year of my contract. They tried to sell me to Sheffield United. They accepted a fee for them because they knew I was going for free at the end of the season because I was 24. My contract was up. They accepted from Sheffield United, and they rang me up. Their manager rang me up, said, "You want to come?" I said, "I'll speak to my agent." Told my agent, "Tell him I'm not coming. I've got 4 months to go on my contract, and I might as well just wait now because I waited nearly 2 years to get out. Now I can leave for free. I might as well wait these last 4 months, whatever it was."
Yeah, well, I think you then went on loan to Charlton and Norwich, didn't you? Did what kind of happened with your relationship with Steve Coppell during that time?
No, it wasn't a relationship with me and him. I didn't want to be. I wanted to move. I wanted to move on the next level. Me and Steve Coppell, you can't fall out with that man. It's such a lovely bloke, man. You can't fall out. Even when he's angry at you, he never shouts at you. Like, oh, yeah, it wasn't between me and him. It was between me and the club upstairs. And I wanted to leave, and they wanted to get more money, and they didn't. And then they tried to sell me to Sheffield United like last minute. So that was frustrating because I didn't enjoy being at Reading. I love playing for them. I love playing with fans, but the people upstairs, some of the people there, I never saw eye to eye with them, and the little certain things happen, and they treat me differently, and I didn't really appreciate that, and I never respected them, so I just stayed away from.
Yeah, you talk about the people upstairs, and I think the Reading's sort of like one of the few clubs I can think of where the guy who was, the big man upstairs is actually, the stadium was named after him. I always found that quite interesting.
But he doesn't get involved. He's all right.
He used to be a bit more involved, didn't he? But
listen, when he signed me, he didn't use the club's budget. He paid £1 million out of his own pocket for me, and he didn't even know what I looked like.
Oh. Yeah.
So he doesn't get involved. The club said to him, "Well, we need some more money, but we don't want to take out the budget. It's going to cost him." He said he'll do it because Steve Coppell wanted me, and he's a top bloke. You can't just Sergio Majewski is a lovely man. Doesn't get involved in all the. He thinks it's crazy that footballers, you have to pay that much money for footballers and that. So, yeah, which is it's not our fault. We didn't make the rules, did we?
Your next permanent club was Middlesbrough, and the manager there was Gareth Southgate. What was it like working under him at Boro? And what have you seen a change in his managerial style since?
Firstly, he tried to sign me. He's one of the teams that tried to sign me before as well, but he got me on a free. And when I met him, I just liked him straight away. He's honest, straight up, and he's been reminding me of Steve Coppell a bit, like just honest. And if the team's doing well, you stay in. Signed me there. He's top bloke. We was doing well, and the family in the changing room got us all together. Made sure like we ate together and spoke to everyone. Some changing rooms, I know you don't know, but some clubs you go to, it's divided. So you have the local lads or the foreign lads or the ones that played together before stick in one group. But with Middlesbrough, he kept everyone involved. We was all together. Everyone spoke to each other. We had made sure we go have dinner together because that helps you get to know each other. Instead of coming in, finish training, have a shower, and everyone does their own thing. So he was brilliant, and he kept a good spirit, and we all loved him. Absolutely every single player. I can't name one player who, apart from the ones that he had to get rid of because of their wages, and that's not up to him. That's not his doing. That's him being told upstairs they have to go. And he's brilliant for us, and he was doing well. Second in league, at one point off top, and then we played Derby or someone on the night. We won 3-1, and he said to us all, go out together. We all went out as a team, and we've all got a text saying, the gaffer's been sacked. We're like, what? We're second in the league, a point off top. So we was all in shock, and he called everyone the next day, and he said, it's just the way it is, and they want to change, and took it the right way. And as I said, he deserves to be where he is today.
Yeah, did you think he would ever, get to where he is today? He got England to the semi-final of the World Cup and stuff, and
yeah, it doesn't surprise me because he brings good energy around him. You want to do well for him, and in football, you meet a lot of people who are not very good football people. They do things for themselves, and he's not one of them. So when you see someone like that do well, you're pleased for them, and anyone that's worked on them, they'll tell you he deserves it. Because he's that type of character that will get the best out of everyone. Look at our World Cup performance a couple of years ago. So that little things like that. I know he wasn't a player, but if you bring that good energy, anything in life around you, you always do well. So in football, to have someone like him, you can't go wrong. Really, he's a top guy.
Yeah, Leroy, and so you played a few seasons at Boro, and then you did actually get a return to the Premier League with Swansea when they came up. How did that kind of come about? Was that a move that you were expecting to make at that point in your career?
Do you want the real story? No, I'm joking.
We'll take the real.
The real ones, I'll save that for when I'm having a chat with people face to face. It's 2 years. I was at 2 years at Middlesbrough, and my final year, in the summer, the manager rang me. He offered me Tony Mowbray rang me and said, I want you to sign a new contract, but you have to take a pay cut. I said, when you sign a new contract, that's normally a good thing. You normally get a pay rise, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, why would I do that? And he said, we'll have your summer, come in and have a chat. But in the summer, Brenda Rodgers was on the phone anyway. They was trying to agree a fee. And I got back into pre-season. I think I'd done the first 2 weeks at Middlesbrough, and then we went away. And then I got the call saying they've agreed something. So we've got back from Slovenia or Slovakia, wherever we were on pre-season, and literally packed my bags and had went down to Swansea, had my medical and that, and signed a deal. Brendan was key to me. He said, he told me I was coming down as number 2, but in my head I was thinking, yeah, all right, cool. I'm going to work hard and get in the team. But he was a manager where he set his team out how it is. Yeah. And these players are always going to play because they're doing exactly what I want. I want them to get used to it, which is fair enough. And I didn't really get a look in it. I think my full debut against West Brom, it was our first victory? It was our first Premier League victory for Swansea.
It was,
We won 3-0.
Yeah.
I scored one and set up one for Nathan Dyer, I think. And then we played Chelsea next week away. So the lads at training on the Tuesday or Wednesday said to me, you know what's going to happen, and if we lose this game, the team's going to go back. I was like, yeah, I know, but let's just try, innit? Let's try and do something. So he had his team set up, and which is a respect to this day. So it wasn't a great move to me, but you can't turn down the Premiership. So I might not have got an opportunity to play in the Premiership again. But, so you don't know when it's coming. And Swansea's a team that you don't like playing against, because whenever I played against them, you don't see the ball. Yeah. And I thought Brendan spoke really well. And you know what? I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the people down there, good people, and we had a good team spirit. That we done well. I think we finished 8th with them as well. So in the first season. So.
Yeah, you mentioned a couple of things there that I kind of wanted to talk about because, obviously Brendan's system, it was a 4-3-3. Talked about people like Nathan Dyer. I think Scott Sinclair was there as well, and he was rapid. Possibly you didn't quite fit in the system, but
I fit.
You fit in, you think, and
I fit in the system, but
I think Danny Graham played.
I was a more than for him in his head. He's like, that's a very good backup.
Yeah.
If anything goes wrong with Danny for months or anything like that, I think Danny, the longest he got injured for was probably 1 or 2 games. So, and that was how he wanted to play. And I don't think I fit in the system, because when we played, I knew what we was doing, and I'm more intelligent enough player to understand the system and everything like that.
What was your game, would you say, like, in your opinion, as a striker?
Goals mainly, but I could link it as well. I was good and strong in the air. I worked hard. My movement. Towards the later in my career, you start playing with players who, no disrespect, but I think possession was more important. It's more important for your stats to be 96% pass rate instead of 82 and try to play forward. So I'm playing with a lot of players in midfield who getting the ball, passing it to the left back and right back, and you're making a run, and it just got frustrated, especially when it's one up top, because a lot of teams play one. So yeah, that's frustrating, and that happens now because everyone looks at stats. They look at their pass completion. Well, when I watch football, I don't look at that. I look at how many times do they look forward, how many times do they pass it forward, how many times do they look for the striker. You know what I mean? Look at Kevin De Bruyne. He stands out by a mile because when he gets the ball, you know what he's going to do. He's going to look forward and he's going to find that path. So there's not many players like that because everyone talks about stats too much now. It's like when I hear stats, and I was having an argument with someone the other day, not an argument, disagreement. He's telling me Gerrard and Lampard are better than Scholes. And then he sent me a stats where goals and games, Lampard and Gerrard's was more. Then I sent him one of Ruud van Nistelrooy and Darren Bents. Darren Bents was more, but who was the better player?
Van Nistelrooy, yeah.
Exactly. So that's when you got stats. Okay, it looks good, but if you don't know football, you go by them. But when you understand the game, it means nothing because Scholes was one of the best players I've ever played against by far, and I've played against all three of them, and Scholes stood out. He's on another level to both of them. So I'm not talking as an opinion, for me, I've been on the pitch. Scholes showed me he was the best out of all them. He showed everybody. If you ask most footballers, they'll tell you Scholes.
Well, Leroy, I'm going to annoy you now because I'm going to start talking about stats again. And it's going back to your Swansea debut. And, I think you guys had 57% possession against Man City. You dominated that game. I remember it was 0-0 for ages, like probably about 20 minutes to go.
We lost 4-0.
Yeah, and who came on? Who came on?
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. We had 50. Everyone was talking. It was 0-0 at half time, right?
Yeah.
Then Aguero made his debut. That was Aguero's debut.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting onto.
Yeah.
From in that day, bloody hell.
Yeah. So he came on and he didn't run about or nothing like that. He didn't try and get his kilometers up or anything. He got the ball in position and smashed it in the back of the net. You know what I mean? He that's what I mean. When people looked at the stat, they're like, how the hell do you lose that forward? Because we just kept the ball at the back. We weren't going anywhere. I don't remember a shot on target. We kept the ball lovely.
Yeah.
But that's not going to win your game. Passing side to side, backwards. That's not that. It's like, all right, we're passing it, but we're not going anywhere with it. Aguero comes on. They give him the ball forward a few times. 2 goals. Game done. Do you understand the difference? Yeah. So if you look at stats in that way, then you're not watching football properly.
So we've now mentioned 3 good managers in Coppell, Southgate and Rodgers. I just wanted your opinion. Who is your favourite to work under and what was different about all 3 of them in terms of, coaching, man management and stuff?
Coppell all round, I'll go with Steve Coppell because just how he treated people and how he made you feel. I think for our group, it was important to know if you do well for the team, you stay in. It doesn't matter who you are, which is important. I think that worked brilliantly. Tactically, training-wise, I would go with training. I love training. Brendan's training was brilliant.
Yeah, a few players like that.
Yeah, his training session, I loved it. That was probably the fittest I've been without playing every week. Not running, but just the training session. You really enjoyed it. It's all with the football. It was brilliant. Every day was brilliant, and you just enjoyed it. You just felt like you were sharp, no matter what. You felt like you can come into the team at any moment. So Southgate, as I said, he reminded me of Coppell, a younger Coppell. So he had that character about him where it makes you feel like you're a big part of the team. Like everybody makes everyone feel the same. So he gets the most out of everyone, and he did. But the best overall, I'll go with Steve Coppell.
So yeah, moving on now to your next permanent move. I know you had a few loan spells in between, but your next permanent move was Barnsley in 2014, if I remember correctly. What was your decision, like, behind your decision to move there, coming from from Swansea?
It was being reunited with my first ever manager, Danny Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking, it'd be good to go and play for him again. Now I'm an experienced player, but when he was with me at Bristol City, he loved experienced players.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got there, the whole squad was like, I think I was 29, and the whole squad, the average age must have been about 22. So I was a bit confused. Like, he's totally changed his mindset. But that change room was way too young. As soon as I walked in that place, I didn't feel, sometimes when you walk in somewhere, you don't feel a good energy or vibe about it. I didn't feel, and I didn't enjoy being out there. I was driving back to London. They got me a flat out there, but I just didn't like staying there. I was literally driving back most days as well, just to be back at home in London. Mm. It was a bad move, and I didn't enjoy it. It was the club I didn't enjoy.
And did you feel like that probably might be one of a regret in your career, moving there?
Nah, not a regret. I don't regret anything, because every experience always gives me something to talk about. I had the opportunity to go to AK Athens that year.
Okay.
It was AK Athens, and wasn't ready to go abroad yet. But the following year, I had another chance to go Greece, and I did.
Yeah, well, I'm sure Sim's got a few questions on your time.
Yeah, go on, mate.
Yeah, so I mean, I suppose first of all, like, what was the lifestyle like out in? It was Hanio, wasn't it, that you in Crete, on the island, the Greek island of Crete? I've been there on a family holiday, and
I'm going in September.
So. Oh, you're going back there?
Yeah.
Obviously, you enjoyed it there then.
It's a lovely place, isn't it? You've been there. It's an amazing place. Lovely weather. The football club, when I got there, they showed me. Well, I could show you some pictures and that. And when I met these, what, I'm used to people in suits for football clubs, and the board anyway. I've been picked up from the airport by this man in his jeans with a cigarette in his mouth, and this other short little guy eating his food, and come out of the airport, and there's all the fans out. You know what they do? They pay their ultras to just try and make you feel welcome.
They pay them.
They pay them. They give them. Yeah. What you think? Greek people are going to come out and stand outside the airport cheering a player they never heard of?
You're a big signing, mate.
Yeah, but not all of them have heard of you. So, they do. That's what they do anyway. And they were out there singing my name. I never heard the song in my life. They just made one on the spot. I've got in. I've got in the car with the guy, one of the directors. I don't know what he called him, director of football, whatever he called himself. Got in the car, they're all smoking away, chatting, trying to talk to me. And I had my agent's assistant. He spoke Greek, so he's translating if we got things wrong in that. Got to the office. There's these guys, they all just look like they just. I just couldn't take them. So I was like, these are not football people. I don't know what they did. I was like, they look dodgy. So I was just sitting there thinking to myself, you know what? Let's just have a look tomorrow. Let them show me around, and then we'll take it from there. They showed me around, took me to the training ground. I was like, oh my God. There's like a shed and one pitch and some benches on the side. The pitch was nice, but the facility is what you used to. But I didn't care in the end. I was like, you know what? It'll be a good experience. It's a nice place to live. So I signed then, and things got going. Interrupt me if you want. Things got going. We started playing some games, and I was done pre-season. We was all going, we're getting fit. Pre-season was like 2 months because the league delayed the start by a month. I was like, how is this possible? And but got on with it. Just carried on playing friendlies. Season started. We done all right at the beginning. Started off all right, and then we played one game, and the chairman's come in the change room. The president, they call them over there. The president's come in and speaking. Obviously, I can't understand every word. Then I got one of the Greek lads next to me. He's translating. He said, nobody tackled today. Everyone take it easy. And no yellow cards because they've made a bet. And I'm like, he doesn't understand. He's got his words wrong in English. I was like, well, all right. got on the pitch, the ball's gone over. Then the other team have knocked it over the top, and it's going out for a clear goal kick. Our centre half is breaking his neck and smashed it out for a corner. I'm like, bro, there's no one near you. And but they've made bets on corners and stuff like that. So the players on the pitch were just cheating, doing what the president told them to do. So I found out about corruption a little bit. Then we played Olympiacos away, and the goals we conceded, I knew that there was another bet on that game, and that's when I was like, right, I don't want to be anything to do with this. Packed my bags and left literally next week.
What was it like for you? You know, in, like experiencing that corruption and like were your teammates complicit? Or were your Greek teammates complicit in it at all?
That's a culture there. That's what they do, because in the change rooms, most games at half time, the lads are getting their phones out and putting bets on. So now it all made sense. I was like, why are they going to their phone? The manager's going to come in. But now I understand why they're doing. They're putting bets all the time. So you wasn't playing football. They were making money doing nonsense on the pitch, and that's how it worked. Because I don't know how they're allowed to bet over there. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was disappointing to see. And then when I seen that, I just had enough. The Olympiacos game away 6-0. If you watch it on YouTube or something like that, you see the goals we conceded.
Yeah.
Do you guys play football at any level?
Yeah.
So you probably could defend some of them. You'll see. So they weren't hard. They made it a lot easier. Made it very easy for them.
See, I'm Cypriot, and my dad played for Ammonia for a couple of months as a youth, and he even said there was a bit of dodginess over there, but I didn't know it was that bad. You know, that players were, you know, corners and.
Did you speak Greek?
A tiny bit.
Little
bit of Greek. Yeah.
Yeah. So my agent when I left Sky, and he's a Cypriot as well. So yeah. So it was a tough thing to watch and see, and because I'm passionate, I play to win, and all the time, some of the games where I was getting frustrated that I thought we could have done better, we couldn't, because people were making money to do certain things. So when I understood that, and I said, I don't want to. You know, the first time you see it, you're like, okay, bit dodgy, but it doesn't happen every week. So when you look back at the games, it was happening every week. So yeah, I'm glad I got out of that, because I don't want to. That's not what I play football for.
Yeah, of course. And just before we wrap things up, I just wanted to, just see what your plans are now. You know, you mentioned you was coaching at the start of this, and where are you coaching, and what's your plans?
Player coach in Nuneaton Borough. Yeah, the manager there has asked me to come in and play, but coach as well. So I'm doing that in a minute, and I'm just getting back in now. All the boys, we can only do it in groups at the moment. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's been good. I'm enjoying it, and I like the young boys asking me loads of questions. They're asking questions that I haven't heard for a long time, because in London, when I've been coaching and stuff, that the questions are from the young lads is how much money players get, or they want to be a rich footballer instead of actually working to be one. So it's nice to hear young lads asking about players, what it's like to play against, how can I improve on this, and with my mindset and everything like that. It's refreshing, and I'm really enjoying it.
Is there any clarity as well as to when you can kind of like get back out there and playing?
I think there's, well, personally, especially because of what they've done with the Premier League, I think the African end of August, beginning of September, yeah. So hope if everything goes well, it will be, because they're letting everything else happen. So the Premier League's going on because we know why, because there's too much money to lose if they just stop it. So, but with little clubs, they rely on fans. So, you know what I mean? You know how it works. They rely on fans, and they can't get that at a minute or any time soon. So we just have to be patient and just go by the rules and do the best we can. And then hopefully when this pandemic's all over, we can all start enjoying our football and lives again, more importantly.
Yeah, we kind of apologise for cutting you off slightly to sort of speak more about your career, because obviously you were talking about really
no problem
conversations that have to happen, and I suppose this is maybe a good time because we're kind of like coming to the end of it, and also it kind of ties in with another conversation which is about black coaches and the opportunities in the game is, you know, that there needs to be better systems. The processes need to be better. And again, I suppose, are you hopeful that you will be given that opportunity, presuming that you want to be, you know, coaching for 20 years or whatever?
Yeah, well, I know, but and it's always going to be the case to the whole system change, like we spoke about earlier. It's not a football thing. Please, people, start understanding it's not a football problem. It's a societal problem.
Yeah.
Once we change that, then we won't even need to speak about it in football, because it's not in society. Some people going mad at me. You just imagine the opportunities I get given as a black man, because I've played football. I'm all right. Yeah, I'm a good person because I've played football. I've done something. But that's not fair, because there's those good people, and then they don't have to be I don't know, what do you call them, a public figure or something to get those opportunities. If anything, we have to make it better in society. So it's so simple, but it's going to be a long, hard road for everybody. And as I'm going to keep repeating, we are not going to see it like that in our lifetimes, but we can change. So we need to, football we can use to teach people about different cultures. And I don't know, if people don't understand at school, use football. I don't know, teach them about Salah coming from Egypt, or Mane coming from Senegal. Is it Senegal, isn't it? Yeah. Senegal. To teach them about, I don't know, it's just, but it's not, that's not the system to use. It's just what you teach people at home. And it's so hard, because I don't ever, in my life, I've never said anything, oh, don't go there because of so-and-so people, or don't do this, or don't be, because they do it. But honestly, white people do that. They do that. And that's the truth. And there's not one person. And if you can look one of the white person in the eye and ask them that question, to be honest with you, and if they're an honest person, they'll tell you there's been plenty of cases. But now, all of a sudden, they want to forget. Some people want to forget it. We just have to address it and talk about it and deal with it. For what it is, not try to make anything else. That's the problem. Why is that person not going to a job? Oh, make excuses. Yeah, he's not. He's got the same qualification, same experience, blah, blah, blah. Why is he not going in there? Oh, there you go. So we just have to change the society and then take it from there.
Do you see yourself as a manager in the future, or possibly
I didn't, but now I'm driven a bit. But I'm driven a bit to do it. It's like something's eating up at me. I'm like, I'll be disappointed myself if I don't give it a go.
Yeah.
No, more than give it a go. So it's like, just, it's in there now, because whenever I talk to young players or players, they take it in. I know because I've played in the Premier League, they look at you different. They look up to you. They're like, that's someone who knows. So I want to take it a bit further than that. And you know what? I'm going to go for it. It might take me a while, but I'm going to go for it.
Well, look, we wish you all the luck in your future endeavours, but that's all we've got time for today. And, you know, we really are grateful that you've taken your time out of your day to come and speak to us. And it's been a pleasure to speak about your great career and pick your brains. I just want to thank you personally for coming on and sharing your thoughts and stories on.
No problem. And anytime, I wish you guys the best with your careers as well, and I hope it goes well. So shout me if I could ever help in any way. Shout me.
Yeah, we'll do. Well, listeners, look, that's all we got time for today. We have more coming for you in the coming weeks. But if you enjoyed our chat today with Leroy, well, you can follow us on Twitter at drinkitin_pod on Instagram and Twitter, and you can now subscribe to our newly launched YouTube channel. You can also listen on Apple or Spotify. I hope you enjoyed it, and me, Sim, and Luke will see you later. Thank you very much.